This is an old sort of homeless campsite, but I'm very curious about what this is. Some sort of game. Look at this. A little kid slide here. Well, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to another litter pick. Got my first bag of the day there. You'll have just seen I did a quick speed run just up to the roundabout and back there. You'll have seen me walking this green along here and the woodland loop through there as well a few times before on this channel. We've sort of adopted this whole area. This is Mildenhall Road, the north side of Bury St Edmunds, and this whole green stretch that runs all the way along here, and then the woodland loop that goes around the industrial estate and back to the start of the green patch down here. It's a nice area to walk. You get lots of dog walkers, lots of joggers, and it's just a nice spot. But unfortunately you get quite a bit of litter. So we've kind of taken this whole area under our wing, really, adopted it as a place that we take care of on a kind of permanent basis now. Oh, it's the top of a vape there. So it's a very wet, rainy day today, the last day of February. Really feels like spring's just around the corner though. If you look here, got all these daffodil bulbs here. They're all just about ready to bloom in the next week or so, I'd say. So I've been kind of dodging the showers today, and it's looking like it should stay dry for the next hour, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'm gonna try and fit in my litter picking mission in that little window of time today. So the problem we've got here on Mildenhall Road, it just gets so much traffic, not just vehicles going along here, but the amount of foot traffic as well. So you probably get something like 100 dog walkers come down here every day. Oh, get in, what's this? Is that a fiver? Oh dear. It's the torn off end of a £5 note. Well, that's no good to anyone. That's not worth anything, I'm afraid. Oh, I really thought I just found a £5 note there. Not to be. Damn, that was tantalizing, wasn't it? Oh, that's hilarious. So as I was saying, the problem, guys, along here, you've got about 100 dog walkers a day come down here, and probably about 2% of them like to toss their little doggy poo bags in the bushes and the brambles. Then you've probably got about 100 runners that come down here every day, and again about 2% of them will drop their energy drinks or gel capsules or water bottles along the path here. Then you've got several thousand motorists who come down here every day, and a lot of them just toss their litter out the window all along the roadside and in the ditch back there where we started. I mean, you've seen it before on this channel, the amount of vodka bottles and wine bottles and beer bottles that we find in that ditch. It's quite scary. There's definitely a lot of drink drivers that come through here at night time. But the worst group of all is the group that I now call the Woodland Cretins. And it's a strange mix of people who come here. I think they're nocturnal. They only come out at night, and they basically walk along this path here and then into the woodland loop in varying directions. And they drink things like these Monster energy drinks, or mostly alcohol. And what they do is they drop it all along this path. Then when they get into the woods, there's a few spots where they've sort of turned fallen trees into benches, and they just crash out there and basically just get off their head on drinking drugs, beer mostly, lots of wine bottles, stuff like that. So they're the main problem around here. See, someone just had a coffee from McDonald's in their car, and they just deposited it before they drove off. Idiots, basically. And I'm just constantly keeping on top of them, trying to keep this area a bit clean. Because like I said, it's the 2% of those people. The other 98% of us, we're walking through here, walking dogs, young families out and about. They don't want to be walking past all this crap, but... and yet, they do. However, my main goal for this video today, something slightly different that I've been wanting to do for a couple of months now. Just through here, you won't see it yet, but just under these trees here, there's an abandoned camp. I'm going to have a go at clearing that up today. Right, so here we go. This is one of the main entrances into the woodland loop through here. And as you can see, there's an abandoned tent here. This is an old sort of homeless campsite. Lots of clothes, all kinds of crap piled up here. Whereas right here, you've got the actual entrance through into the woodland path, which goes all the way up the edge here of the industrial estate. It's a lovely path. But I noticed a couple of months ago as I walked through here, there was this green tent. And funnily enough, the conservation group where I do a monthly group litter pick, one of the ladies that I volunteer with, she also volunteers for the Berry Drop-In Centre, which is like a sort of homeless support charity. And they actually give out these green tents to homeless people who haven't got anywhere to stay. If they're unable to find accommodation, or if they refuse accommodation, then they will give them these tents. And they try to keep a record of who these people are and where they might be staying. And she actually told me back in January, oh, there's a bloke up in Mildenhall Road. And I said, oh, is it right next to that woodland path by the industrial estate? She said, yeah, that's it. I said, yeah, I know exactly which tent that is. And she said, well, he's actually just come into the centre again and told us that he's abandoned it. He's not going back, and they're working on some sort of more permanent solution for him, somewhere else to stay. So I said, oh, I'll go and have a little look down there at some point. So I've been meaning to get down here. I've walked past quite a few times and just not really had the time, because this is sort of a half-hour attack session, basically, which is what I'm going to try and do today. So I'm going to make a start on it. Well, I've already made a start on it. We'll get it all cleared out of here. And I'm just going to pile everything up by the road there and get the council to come down on Monday morning and pick it up. Oh, that was a condom there. Disgusting. They were clearly living here for a little while, because there's a fair amount of stuff that's piled up here. It's quite sad, isn't it, the idea that someone was just living in all this filth for such a long time. Let's actually take a look inside the tent, shall we, and see what that's like. Yeah, there's nothing left in there, but it was probably all of this stuff here, all the clothes was piled in here, and where it's blown over or been pushed over, it's all ended up here. But I'm very curious about what this is. Some sort of game. Get ready for a date you'll never forget. First date's the game. looks like a sort of card game based on the TV show. How bizarre. That's very intriguing. Why would they have that here? Very odd. Quite a lot of kind of heavy wet clothes here. All this cardboard as well. Let's get this tent out of the way, shall we? And then we'll see exactly what we're working with. Right, I've managed to pull a lot of this pole out of here now, and it has collapsed flat, so I'm not going to overwork myself too much on that. I'm going to deal with what's left here of the campsite, and I've got a little trick up my sleeve. So we'll see you down there in just a second. All right, here we go. Got the water haul litter picker out again. The folding litter picker with the GoPro attachment, so we can get a little bird's eye view of this litter being picked. Just try and clear some of this bulky stuff out of the way so I can see what I'm dealing with the smaller stuff. Get that log out of the way as well. Because normally for these videos your perspective is just my chest, but today you are my litter picker. How does it feel to be dumping all this litter in the bag? Most annoying thing here, to be honest, is all these playing cards from the game. They've all gotten quite wet. They've all just been left outside in the elements. But there's just so many of them. Just thought that might be interesting, something a little bit different. So I think if I just put these few kind of bulky bits and pieces laid out on this tent, then I can drag the tent through to the roadside there, just make it easy for pickup. Even a little duvet there as well. I suppose you got to keep warm when you're sleeping out here. I wouldn't be surprised if they abandoned this camp purely because it got so cold. I mean, we had a temperature drop in sort of late December, early January, which is when this place was abandoned. It probably just got way too cold to be sleeping out here. Right, this is the campsite, having picked it up, and can you see Mr. Robin just over there on that log there? So that log was previously underneath the tent, and now he's sort of scavenging to see if he can find anything. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some insects lurking underneath there that he's looking for. But it's nice to see a place like this restored back to nature again. Right, this is the waterhole picker again, so that's where I pop my GoPro in. And this is where it just folds in half, so perfect for me to put in my backpack here. It's just great to carry it on the go, and it also means that I can take it traveling with me. So I previously used it in the US because it just pops straight into my suitcase. So yeah, something a bit different there for you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And it really took no time at all to clear this little patch up. To be honest, most of it was this bulky stuff, which we'll move in a minute. I don't even want to know what's in that bag. That looks gross. Oh look, we've already got a daffodil coming through here now. So exciting. Spring is on the way. We've got better days ahead, sunny days ahead. What is this? Piece of concrete with a big bit of metal sticking out of it. Interesting, I wonder what that's from. Why is that here? Look at this, a little kid's slide here. That's been sitting there for about 3 months at this point. Oh, that concrete's heavy. So yeah, the story behind that kid's slide is basically if you walk up this woodland loop here, all along the back of these houses here, this housing estate, if you look along the back of the fence, I can see it now, you won't be able to see it from here on the camera, but there's all kinds of like old sports equipment, kids' toys, garden tools, all kinds of stuff that people effectively have just tossed over the back of their garden fence. Here you go, so this sort of thing. Children's slides, hanging baskets, bits of plastic, more like kids' chairs down there, various bits and pieces. It's all just been lobbed out of people's gardens. It's kind of stupid and annoying. It's just out of sight, out of mind, isn't it? Toss it over your wall or over your back fence and it's gone. But we did a group litter pick through here a year ago. We found loads of stuff and we just had to kind of draw the line along these fences and say, no, like we just can't waste hours and hours dragging all of this heavy equipment out. So now whenever I walk down that path, I only focus on all the litter really. You know, all the usual stuff, beer cans and wine bottles and dog poo bags and whatnot. I just can't be bothered to deal with these residents and all of their, you know, playground equipment and stuff, but that green slide is an exception because it was right on the path. I've been walking past it for weeks. And since I'm making a pile of this bulky stuff today, it might as well all just go. I think that makes sense. Right, so let's see if we can get this whole pile of stuff in one fell swoop. Give it a go. All right, it's coming. As long as I don't get snagged on anything here, I should be okay. Right everyone, we're done here for today. You possibly can't see him, but that little robin's back. Can you see him bobbing along there? Hello. Sweet little thing. He's just having a little sniff around, investigating just where I've shifted all of that crap. It's opened up the ground again, so this is all just perfectly natural again, as it should be. And I'm pretty happy with what we've achieved here today. There's another group of volunteers who live on the Marham Park housing estate, which is just beyond the woodland path on the other side. And they organise a quarterly litter pick, which covers all of that housing estate, and they also do some of this woodland loop here. I've been talking to the lady who organises it. She's brilliant. And I was saying to her, oh, you know, I get really fed up walking through that woodland path lately just because there's so much stuff from these drinkers that come out. And she said, well, funnily enough, we're putting together a little bit of a plan. Would you like to be involved? I said, yeah, absolutely. So we've put our heads together. And this year, once we get into sort of spring and going into summer, we're going to be putting in place a few initiatives to try and clear this place up for good, try to encourage a bit more positive behaviour, and basically just stop people trashing this area. So there's going to be more litter picks, obviously, but also we're going to be going through and clearing out some of the really dense brambles where there's just kind of years worth of rubbish underneath that we can't get to. We're going to try and clear that all up a bit. We're going to try and get some sort of, we're going to try and get a little bit of lighting in some places just to make it a bit safer in the evenings. Nothing crazy. We don't want to interfere too much with nature, but just on a low level, a few lights here and there that wouldn't be going all night. We're going to go in as a team and clear up some of the fly tipping that's in there. I know there's a big sofa at the moment near the other entrance, which is really annoying me, but I just can't move it on my own. I've suggested that we maybe start doing a few volunteer litter bins, sort of like what Chile does in London. So hanging a few bags sort of on trees at either end of the woodland area, and just see if that makes a difference, because you get so much stuff. And the problem is there really aren't that many bins around. So we'll leave it there for today, everyone. I'm going to take a little wander just down this side of the woodland path now and just check out what that's looking like since I last litter picked it. Possibly fill another bag in there, but also just kind of try and enjoy the woods, hopefully. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us today. So as I said, there's some really exciting things coming up in the pipeline. So thank you very much for your support. Thanks for liking, commenting on our videos, hyping our videos, sending the super thanks, buying us a coffee, and all the other wonderful things that you do for us. We really love this community that's growing around litter picking. Feels like there's a lot of momentum at the moment, so thank you so much. And we will see you on another video very soon. Thanks everyone. Bye.